sir. You are audible.
And are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes. Yes, Guru.
Okay. So I'll minimize this. Okay. So let's go through the learning summary, what we have learned yesterday. So we learned about filtering data and what are the keywords that we can use. So where, and, or, limit, fetch. These are, I mean, not used. I mean, if you have a lot of large data sets and you want to limit that, see, for example, if you have a million of records and when you run that, it takes a lot of time to get a display on your screen. Okay, in Postgres, I mean, wherever it displays the message, right, bottom. So it takes. So during those scenarios, you can use limit and fetch. Okay, that will simplify. Just 5 records, 10 records, or randomly you can say 50, 100 records. Okay, that will be very quick and you don't have to wait. Okay, and another one is in. Okay, we learned about in. Okay, so select data that matches the value. Okay, so if you are looking for some matching values with what do you call uh, I mean names of the country, on I mean if you have those in your database, if you're looking for specific data, okay, multiple matches. Okay, this is multiple matches. Yesterday we saw, right, the syntax also. After in, you have to open a bracket and then you have to write those in quotes and then you can search. Between is something range. Okay, so this will be useful when you are looking for some specific data. Okay, specific data between that range, like filter based on pattern matching. Now 3 patterns we have learned yesterday. One is, the first one is we can start with the letter and then you can put a percentage, and the other one is you can start with percentage and you can match the last 3 words, 4 words, whatever you're looking for. Okay, and if you know the the exact matching pattern, you can put in percentage and close it, and you put a quotes and you can write in between. Okay, yesterday we have seen all these examples. So today what we're going to do is we're going to learn these are all examples, okay, which we have done yesterday. Today we're going to learn about arithmetic operators. Okay, before that, just okay, give me 1 minute, guys. I think I have to copy something. 1 minute. I'm just closing all this so that it doesn't clutter here. Okay, so I'll open now. Uh, yes. Okay, so what is this? Is ERD, Enterprise Entity Relationship Diagram. Okay, so I'll just save it somewhere. Not found. Find out this one. All files. Okay, is it asking for opening? Okay. Guys, the file which I've sent yesterday, did anyone open and check that one? Because the practice session that I shared, I'm not able to find that. Okay, but anyway, I'll figure it out later. Uh, but anybody has practice, then we are good. Okay, so otherwise I'll just cancel this. I don't need this. Don't save. Okay, so I will open a new file. Okay, so someone was asking how do we open a new file. Okay, you can right click on this DVD rental or the database that you want to work on. Okay, and then you can say query tool. Okay, it opens with a fresh query tool. Okay, so by default you can see this is the name, you will get it. Okay, so you want to save it with the name, you can save it, or you can also open here and you have something called edit. This is for running execution, and this is for explaining, and this is for analyzing. Okay, so just open the dummy file. Okay, so today's date is 28. Okay, so today, coming back to our topics, so what we're going to learn today is, as per our presentation, okay, arithmetic operators. Okay, now everybody knows the sign that I have showed here, like equal sign, greater than, less than, greater than and equal. Okay, less than or equal, not equal to, this one is not equal to, and logical operator, you can use and, logical, in, like, is, null, also not. Okay, so whatever we have learned yesterday, so we learn some advanced topics here. Okay, so in Postgres SQL, operators are used mainly in the where clause. Okay, so whatever the operator you see here, this is used in a where clause to filter rows based on the condition. Okay, so this is what you have to remember. Okay, to be used with where clause. So these are some of the operators that you can See, okay, everybody knows all these things. Only thing is you need to know the technique, how to use them in Postgres. Okay, when you are working on some data, okay, how do you use that? So, so here Uh, these are also used to compare numbers, text, date. Okay, equal to, greater than, less than. Okay, whatever condition that you think that you are looking for, you can use these operators and make use of it. And AND operator, okay, in AND all condition must be true. Okay, yesterday we have seen AND operator. Okay, this one AND operator, the condition should be true, and for OR at least one condition must be true. Okay, or means either this or that. Okay, I might come or I might not come. Okay, so or one condition should be true. Okay, and not the last one, reverse the condition results. Okay, it will reverse the condition results, negate the result of other operators. Is null return true if the value is null. If nothing is there in that row, okay, then it will say it is true. Okay, and like return if the value matches the pattern, like, okay, like we have seen yesterday in, right? Like also we have seen in. We'll do some hands-on also today, and then we'll move to the other topics. So in matches value from the list, like pattern matching, and is null means it will check the null value. Null everybody know, right? Empty cell. Okay. um, we have theory. Okay, why I have two PPT here? Like, okay, you have I like also, okay, which pattern is case sensitive, insensitive. Okay, so both are same, nothing much. Only thing is I've added for this equals, not equal, is null, not same. Okay, same, almost same. Okay, now coming back to our commands. Okay, what are the commands are available? Okay, so this is common with all the uh, SQL tool sets that are available. Okay, from Microsoft, Oracle, Postgres, MongoDB. Okay, you name any, you have the same definition, the commands. Okay, so we have DDL, DML, DCL. Okay, data definition language. Okay, DML stands for manipulation and C for control. Okay, so this control is predominantly for the admins, SQL admins. Okay, so I mean, if there are some critical database, right, or tables, it has some PIA information, personal identification, okay, information. If it is there, okay, they'll be very cautious to give the access. So admin has to give table, and he will also mention what rows he can view. Okay, sorry, not rows, columns, sorry. Okay, what columns he can have access to. So he'll mask other rows, other columns, so that even if he runs select star from that table, it will not fetch. It will fetch only whatever the access that has been given. Okay, this is predominantly for the management or administration purpose. This one manipulation will do. Okay, whatever we are doing with SQL and all is the same thing. Manipulation definition languages will create tables, will update tables, and we will delete, and we will uh, uh, yeah, we'll create, we say CRUD operation, CRUD. Okay, create, read, update, and delete. Okay, so you can do all those things here. Okay, with data definition language. Manipulation, we'll see all these things in the upcoming slide. Okay, so 1 minute, I'll just on this, yeah, bigger. So these are, what is DDL commands? These are SQL commands used to interact with relational database. We know how do we interact? We open, we launch the Postgres admin tool, and then we have a editor section where we interact with our database, and then we will write a query to fetch the required information, right? So the first statement is about the interaction with relational database. DDL stands for the definition, the full form is data definition languages. Okay, language. These commands handle the creation. Okay, now what do you mean by creation? Creating a table. Okay, and altering means whatever the table you have created, existing table. Say for example, you have a employee table or film table. Okay, you want to add one more column there, right? You can do that. Alteration is nothing but you're altering the existing table without changing the other features. And deletion of database objects such as tables, indexes, and schemas. Okay, so if you have created one and you think that it is not required, where it is storing a lot of data and a lot of storage, you can take a call and you can use the DDL command to delete such tables. Okay, now what are the DDL commands that predominantly we'll use? One is to create table, alter table, drop table. Okay, so we have three commands here: create, alter, drop. Create, simple definition, everybody know, create a new database. Drop, sorry, alter, modifies the existing database object. Okay, object is nothing but the entire schema that you have created initially, whatever database we created, right? Sample, by right clicking on your the top hierarchy and then create a new database. So it's called a object. And drop deletes the existing table, the table that you have already created. Okay, only existing table only you can drop. Okay, I'll move to the next slide. Now we'll talk about DML. Okay, full form of DML is data manipulation language. Okay, and these are the commands that we use for managing data. Okay, within the existing database means, see, database is your top hierarchy folder, right? And inside that you have created some tables, right? So your top folder is your database. Under that, whatever the objects we are talking about are tables. Okay, triggers, all those falls under object section, and they allow us to insert, update, delete, and retrieve data. For retrieving data, what is the command we use? Select. Simple. Select star from table name, you retrieve the data. If you want selective columns, you say select column 1, column 2, column 3 from this table. Okay. So delete is deleting the content inside the table. For example, you have 10 rows and you want to delete some records from the table. Okay, so you can do that, or you can delete the table also, or you can use a drop command. Okay, now what is the difference between delete and drop is, in delete your schema means the table. Say for example, we created something called uh, employee table. Okay, and I have inserted 10 records there. Okay, just 10 records I have inserted. Now what happens here is, whatever the 10 records you have added, by mistake you have added some wrong information, but you don't want to delete the table. Again you have to run create table command, and then again you have to use the insert command to update data. So what you will do in those scenarios, you will use the delete command to delete the number of rows. Okay, that's a difference. You might get these type of questions in interviews. What is the difference between drop and delete? Drop, when you say drop table, table name, say for example film. Okay, whatever, it drops the data as well as the schema. Okay, the schema is nothing but table format also it will delete. Nothing will be there. Okay, so that's the only difference. This allow user to insert, update, delete, and retrieve data. Okay, common command that you will come across is manipulation language: insert, update existing records in a table. Okay, and add new records to a table. Delete removes records from a table. Okay, and this one is retrieve data from one or more tables. Select, we have already been doing practicing, okay, since 3-4 days. Okay, now coming back to DCL. Now what is DCL? Data control language. The word control tells us that it has to do some administration, right? So what does that mean? Administration, okay? Controlling the database, tables, okay? So entire database. So even if someone wants to open, he cannot open. We'll lock it, okay, with a password, and only he can add and he can give a selective role, okay? So he cannot give DML or the other one, okay? DDL. Okay, so in DML, what happens? Manipulation language. We can add, we can delete, right? So he cannot give all this. Only he can give is definition language, select statement only, and that too with limited access. Okay, we'll learn about the other thing is we have some concept called views. Okay, so we'll also cover that also, and I will explain what are the importance of views. Okay, when you should create a view. Okay, now in DCL, common DCL commands, one is grant. Okay, gives a user a role or role specific privilege. Example, grant select on. Okay, so this is simple example, but when we get hands on, right, you will understand. Okay, but you need to create another user when you log in. If you log in with that user on your SQL, okay, then you can see what is the difference we are talking about. Revoke means removes a specific privilege from a user or role. Example, we do that, right? So for example, if a user need access for 1 month for this project, ABC project, you will give him a read access to some database, right? Some tables, only tables. You have 10 tables, 100 tables, you will not give all. So whatever work he is doing, you will provide those access to those tables. Okay. Now in Postgres, yeah, I'll cover this also. Probably tomorrow I'll go through with data types and other things, right? So since we are at manipulation DML, okay, so since we are creating tables, right? So whenever you declare any column, okay, in Excel, what do? You open Excel, you go at the top row and you will create columns, right? Say for example, employee ID, then employee name, employee first name, last name, employee location, okay, and reporting manager or whatever, if you are pulling some information, right? So and do you define there the data type? No, right? So Excel knows by default if employee ID is a mix of text and number. I mean, it will take generally, right? But what happens is when in the database and other tools, other programming tools, right, you need to explicitly define that. Okay, so for example, we have data types. When we talk about data, we have numeric data type. Okay, and what are those? Okay, so integer, decimal, numeric, okay, serial. Okay, we'll see all these examples. I'll show you. And then other data, okay, this is very important, date time. Okay, so if you see timestamp, okay, so when you create a timestamp, it's a mix of date, time, and date and time. Okay, timestamp, only you need date. You have to explicitly say for example, joining date. So there is a column called joining date. So joining date, do you write at times there? No, right? We don't generally do that. Okay, what is required is plain date format. So you will use date. So you need to understand which data type you have to declare in SQL. Okay, time. If you need both, see timestamp. I'll tell if you are working on logs or anything, right? If you are storing those data, that is. Uh, I mean, then you can use this timestamp where you can capture the date and time. Okay, what time the error occurred. Okay, so if you are storing all those in database in some format, right, then it makes sense to capture the timestamp. Date is plain date. Okay, and you can change the format also there. Okay, time, your time. Okay, so current time, whatever the time you are looking, and boolean type data type. Okay, which will take true and false. So when you are defining anything in your questionnaire or in database, right, either true or false. Okay, if you say this column is a boolean data type, it will take true and false. Okay, it will not take any other text also. Even if you type explicitly like hello, kilo, I mean, it will not take. Okay, it will throw an error. So you have to make sure whatever the columns you are mentioning, you have it has to follow this golden rule. Okay, data types rule. Next one is other data types. Okay, we have geometric. Okay, geometric we can use. See maps. I'm talking about Google Maps. Okay, so if you take the maps and you store it in vectorize and store it in a database, you can still retrieve those. Okay, so whatever the maps that you use on your mobile today, if you are going to a new location and you don't know uh, uh, that location correctly, what do? You open a map, right? So where does it open in the backend? So there's some database. It is storing in that database. When you log in and search, it picks up the geometric of the information in the form of maps. Okay, and then you select your current location and destination, and then that is where it will track everything. Okay, so JSON, array, composite, these are different formats. Okay, it all depends what kind of data you are gonna store. Okay, so this is very important, designing your tables, database. Character data types. Okay, in character, for example, name. Okay, if I want to use name, simple, in India we can use char. Okay, and you can say, or text you can use simple. Okay, text will take pure character. Okay, letters only. But varchar will take the combination of letters as well as numbers. Okay, why? Because you have to be very careful, because if you see US, I mean in US and all in Western countries, what happens? You have John 2, okay? Or they give a name with the two Roman number, right? John 3, John 4, like that. You, if you're designing something for those Western, the app or whatever the database you're designing, you have to make sure, okay, which one to use. So I generally use varchar only. Okay, you never know. Okay, so text purely if you're using varchar, if you have a password column. Okay, there is a column called password, and if you design with varchar, it will take any number and then text, number, okay, letter, then you have this exclamation at the rate, everything it will pick up varchar. Okay, so when you design your table, just make sure, be mindful which one to use from this. Okay, so this is about the Postgres data types. Okay, now we'll go through this whatever we have learned, right? I just give you the summary, but you can go through. Postgres provide three main character type. Okay, character, this is varchar and text. Okay, this is how you have to define. I'll show you. See, this is just an example. Don't get confused. When we do this hands-on, right? I'll show you. Okay, varchar. Varchar means it's a combination of text and integer. Okay, so whenever whatever n you see in the number, okay, for example, if I say 25 inside, so whatever the name I'm mentioning, right, it will take up to 25 letters. Okay, it's a combination of name and numbers. Okay, and text and varchar, if you don't mention, you can mention also text. Okay, you don't have to mention bracket. If you mention text only or varchar, you see a variable unlimited length. You never know if someone has a lengthier name, right? I mean, I mean, the entire name is taking like 35 characters. Okay, then you can just declare as varchar. Okay, character, char. Okay, you can explain the character full if you are okay. You can type the entire thing or char n. Okay, fixed length, blank padded. Okay, it's a fixed length. Say for example, character. I mean, for example, you have uh, column called gender. Okay, in gender you can write female, male. Okay, female 6. Okay, so you can give 6 male, female. Otherwise, it will not take any other fixed length. Okay, letters, I mean whatever the content you are typing there or entering, right, through online. Okay, you have a web page, from there it is writing backend to your database. This is about first data type character, var, and text. Okay. So I have written some notes here. Okay, is a fixed length character. Okay, and if you just mention varchar without any bracket and text, okay, it can take any number of this thing. We'll see all this in our practice. Okay, use char n if you want to validate the length of a string n. Okay, so if you want to validate, you can mention here 10, 15, 20, 100, whatever before inserting into or updating to a column. Varchar without a length specific text or equivalent. Okay, boolean has three values. Okay, the other one that we talked about, boolean. Okay, so what is boolean? Boolean has three: true, false, and null. Sometimes null also you might have seen. Okay, intentionally some people in the form they'll leave it, right? So when you insert that data, so you need to have a null also, right? So that is the reason I've added true, false, and null. Okay, and is nothing, just null. For that I have added and here. Boolean data type. Okay, this is very important. The next one is numeric number. Okay, so here number can store numbers with a lot of digits. Okay, fixed, float means you know, right, decimals. Okay, like say for example 26.11711. So you have to design if your column has to pick the decimal. Okay, you have a share information where you want to add the decimal value. I mean, if you think, you have to design properly the columns. Okay, in Excel we just create a column, we just type. Okay, later on we type those columns, I mean numbers ourselves. Okay, yes. So what happens, you don't declare anything for the column in um, Excel. Okay, explicitly you don't mention this column is float, this column is int, this column is var or char or text. Okay, you don't declare there. Okay, so Excel has that intelligence. Whenever you type, it will take those. Okay, but it doesn't validate that. Okay, if you add that logic to your Excel cells, okay, validate before entering. So if you say it has to take true and false only, even if I say okay, it will say not allowed. Okay, so it has to be true or false if you are adding a boolean value there. Okay, so coming back to our numeric part, it can store numbers with a lot of digit. Okay, so then this numeric part, we data type we use only for storing numbers. Okay, now let's break this up, numeric, into data type and see what type of data we have. We have precision and scale. Okay, precision means total digits, scale means digit after decimal. Okay, same float. Okay, exact representation, ideal for financial calculation. Okay, if you see, I mean, if you might have seen in your bank statement and all, right, and when you log into your app, you might have seen it shows in rupees, INR and all, right? So if you have those type of data type that you want to capture, right, so you have to mention that also, exact representation. Okay, ideal for financial calculation. Okay, variable storage. Okay, and it varies by precision. Postgres variable length format. Okay, so I mean, whatever the length you give, right, a big int. Okay, so example is big int, which will take like a million numbers. Okay, million or billion. Okay, so even I don't know how many zeros are there in billion. Okay, so those type of um, data type, when you are declaring, you have to make sure which one to use. But it's very easy, guys. When you do this hands-on, right, you will learn. Now coming back to date. Okay, so another data type is date type. Okay, so we used to store data. Okay, we used to store date data. Okay, now what are the different formats that we can come across or encounter with date type? Okay, so we have Postgres use 4 bytes. Okay, 4 bytes to store a date value. Okay, so how much it use for a date type? 4 bytes. Okay, internally, it's internally, but it's good to know. Okay, I have added this point just because in the interview they might ask. Okay, Postgres data type, and you can see format. First format is plain data. Okay, it starts with YMD. Okay, year, month, day. Other one is range. You see here 4713 BC to some AD. So this is also a good format that you want to capture. Okay. Next one is storage. Like I said, it takes 4 bytes. Okay. Functions and operation. Okay. Arithmetic operator. Okay. Like equal to you can use and you can filter. Comparison. Okay. Formatting. Same thing I showed you at the beginning. Okay. These are very simple, guys. Okay. Even if you go to the PPT, you can understand. Okay. Okay, so these are some of the, this is about the ERD. So we'll cover this tomorrow. So this is about the data types. Okay, now, okay, data types. Now I'll use the same film, select star from film. Okay, okay, so I have all this. So how many rows? 1,000 rows affected. So I have 1,000 rows. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll go towards right. I have some numbers here, duration and all. Okay. So I want to play around with data with operators. Okay. I'll show you some basic operators. So first I'll show with equals. Okay. Select from film. Like I said, all operators you have to use with where. Okay. Where is very famous and very useful keyword that you will be using now and then to query or manipulate your data. Okay. So even you can use with insert. Insert some data from this table. Okay. Where employee ID is equal to 2101 something. Okay. So where I can say where rating. Yeah. I'll take the example of rating where rating equals. Okay. First one is equals. Okay, equals, then I'll say PG. Okay, okay. Now I have how many rows? 194. Earlier I have 1,000. So it has filtered the data. Okay, this is also very important. Sometimes you have to look at number of rows affected here. Okay, now if you see the rating column where I was manipulating here, so I have all PG. Okay, you can scroll along and you can check. Okay, so I'll just write here uh, equal, then what is the next one? Greater than symbol. Okay, then obviously less than symbol, less than or equal. So less than equal is one symbol, the opposite of it is greater than equal. Okay, and the other one is not equal to. Not equal to is this symbol you have to use, opposite. Okay, not equal to, then and or then we have null, not null. Yeah, not null. Okay, and we have another one is in. Okay, yesterday we have seen the in operator already, so no need to do those practice like, okay, like, Okay, yeah, this much. I'll just save it. Okay, so I'll show you the rating. So I want to close this by 9:05. Okay, I will not take much time. Yesterday we took almost like 9:30, so I'll try to finish this off with simple examples. Okay, now the next one is, what is the next one? Greater than. Okay, how do we use the greater than? Okay, so greater than, always think about the column where you want to uh, uh, manipulate some uh, number. Okay, number, sorry, not manipulate, sorry, uh, I mean to say, you are querying something where you have some numbers and you want to validate that. Okay, something like this or whatever. Okay, so we'll, like, we have 4.99. Okay, so how many do we have? I don't know. Okay, I'll just run this. So 1,000 rows are there now. Okay, you can use for release year also, greater than 2006 also you can say. Okay, how do we write that? Okay, so I'll say select from film where column name, what is the column name? Release year. Release underscore year. Okay, release year where release year, year is greater than, okay, uh, 2006. That's it. Okay, so zero rows affected means, that means there is no condition that is matching with our. Okay, what about less than? Even less than is not, I mean standard 2006 is what I can see there. Okay, okay, how do you find this? Yesterday we have learned distinct. Okay, so distinct will give us that result. Okay, so I'll just copy this entire thing, select distinct column, uh, release underscore year from film. Okay, I don't need all these things. So how many values you have? See, right now I have 10,000 record. You can go scroll and look at. What if you have 10 million records? Can you, do you have that bandwidth to go through all this? No, right? So simple, use distinct for that column. So only one value. Simple. That. Okay. So we don't have multiple values. So I'm good with that. Let me run this. Okay, so this is the example of less than or greater than. I'll show one more example with greater than. I'll pick some number. Okay, here we have some number, right? This is the rental duration. Okay, movie rental duration. So I'll take the same thing, I'll copy it here where release year is there. I'll say greater than, I want to see how many movies, I mean the duration of rental time, okay, is more than 5 hours. Okay, more than 5 hours. Okay, how many such entitlement we have movies? Okay, so we have how many? 1,000 rows affected. Okay, let me go. I doubt. See, we have 7 also. So I have to use greater than equals. Oh, sorry. This is correct only. Instead of release year, I have to use rental duration. Sorry. Column name. Okay. Rental duration. Okay. Now we'll get a result. Okay. Now you see 403 rows affected. So 403 movie titles we have that are above rental duration is more than 5 hours. Okay. That is one of your analysis. You can see here rental duration where we have run this. So above 5, 6, 7, Okay, this is how you're gonna do this. Greater than, same thing. Less than, same thing, reverse it. Okay, less than 3 hours. Okay, I'll say less than 3 hours. Nothing is there. Okay, so less than 5. So how many rows? 406. Okay, so 400 rows affected. So 400 users or movies that we have in our DVD rental shop. Okay, so which the rental duration is less than 5. These are the movies. Okay, these are the movies. 333. Yeah, I just want to verify this. 333. Okay. Okay, this is one. Now next one is greater than equal to. Okay, I'll just copy paste. I don't want to type. I'll say rental rate. Okay, instead of duration, I say rental rate. Okay, which is greater than, or I can say then equals to rental rate uh, 3. Okay, let's see what do we get now. Okay, so 664 rows affected. So 664 entries we have found where the rental rate is less than $3. Okay, if you want to, uh, if you are planning to do this, okay, sorry, yeah, rental rate. Okay, rental rate. You can see 0.99, $3. Our condition is less than 3. Okay, you can just validate, scroll and see. If you see 5, 6, or then you have to work on your data. Okay, could be incorrect. Something like this. Less than equals to. Okay, and next one we have next one is what? This one we have done not equal to. Okay, so I'll paste this. Okay, instead of this, I'll pick uh, rating. Okay, rating not equal to. Okay, I'll pick some and see right now we have NC17, right? Instead of NC17, I'll pick something called NC18. Okay, NC hyphen 17. Let me try with 17. Not rating is not equal to 17. Okay, now what it is doing is it is excluding NC7. Okay, now if you see here the rating, it has excluded NC7. Okay, and how many rows affected? 970. So we have movie DVD in our stock. Okay, which is not like NC17. So what is the count? 790. It could be R means restricted, PG parental guidance 13 years, parental guidance, G means general, okay, are restricted. So this is how you can use the operators here to fetch your desired result. Okay, if you want to just count, you can use the count method also. Okay, function I showed you count. Okay, so just say COUNT. Okay, and put a star inside. 790, simple. Okay, so there are different ways that you can write your query and get your numbers. Okay, so when we learn about Grafana dashboards creation, right? So this is mostly we use count. Okay, with different scenarios: greater than, less than, number of, okay, age, greater than 40, greater than, less than 30. Okay, so you will get a count and then you can display those in your dashboards. Okay, next one after the not equal and operator. Okay, so I'll just run through. Select star from film where. Okay, I'll pick two condition now. So let me just run from here to here film. uh, okay, I want language ID. Okay, but I don't know whether language all are English. Yes, could be language, or I'll take rental duration where. Okay, and when you are using and, you can add two conditions. Okay, where uh, rental underscore duration. Okay, rental duration. Okay, I'll say equals to okay, it's a numeric, right? So no quotes. I'll say rental duration is like 3. Okay, and second condition. Okay, second condition is what? Rental duration and rental rate. Okay, rental rate is greater than. Okay, now I am not using equal. Greater than, greater than uh, 2. Okay, randomly I'll give some 2. Okay, now you see 125 rows affected. You can see here also. So what that means is we have 125 entries that satisfies this condition. So we have rental duration is 3 hours and rate is $2. Okay, you can go right and you can validate. See, the first condition is 3. You can just scroll and see. And other one condition is greater than 2. Okay, 2.99, 4.99, and you can see the. Okay,
So we can complicate by adding rental rate is between 2 and 3.
yes, you can do that also between 2 and 3. You can use the between also, sir.
Okay, yeah,
It all depends
thanks.
on the logic, how you want to write and how you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
retrieve.
right.
Okay, but it's fun because it's a simple English statement that you're writing. Okay, so these are all, I mean, code that you are writing to interact with your SQL database. Okay, now I'll show you the or. Okay, same thing. I'll just copy and I'll change here and there. Okay, select start from film. Okay, and rental duration is greater equals to 3. Okay, now I'll write the same thing. Okay, rental duration, where is rental duration? Let me run rental duration. Okay, so what is the number? I don't see anything 2-digit number here, all single. Okay, so I'll say rental duration where is equal to 3, or rental duration equals to 10. Okay, now you see 203 rows affected, but that's both the condition, only one it will pick up. Okay, or means in the one. So now see rental duration 3. Okay, because we don't have 10, so randomly I gave 10. Okay, what if I gave 5? Let me see. Okay, now 394. So 3 and 5 both the conditions satisfying, so it is picking both. Okay, this is how you can make use of from the same table, so from the same column, not table, sorry, same column, rental duration. Okay, I'll just save this. Okay, okay, so we know how to use or. Now we'll look at in operator. Okay, actually we have done yesterday, but these are part of this arithmetic operator, so I thought maybe I'll just go through those who missed yesterday. Okay, I'll just pick not this one. Pick select star. Okay, select star from film where not rental I'll take some other now. Okay, now I'll take rating. Okay, where let's change G rating. Okay, where rating in. Okay, now you see we have multiple entries here. Okay, PGG, RCR, and all that. Right? But I'm looking especially for R and G. So I want to see how many entries we have R and G. How many movies belongs to R restricted, okay, and general. So how do I declare that? For in, the golden rule is you have to write in bracket. Okay, first one is R, comma, then G. Simple. Okay. How many rows? 337. So 337 movies that in my catalog belongs to R and G. Okay. R and G. You can see. Okay. This column. So whichever column you are filtering, you will get that data there. Okay. Next one. This is in, right? Next one, I think like. Okay. I'll just copy same this. We'll change this statement later on. Select star from film. Okay. Uh, I'll pick here 1 minute. Okay, so I have some movies here. Okay, so I know the movie name starts with B, first letter. Okay, but I don't know the movie entire name. I forgot, so I'm searching. Okay, how do you do that? Where? Okay, where? What is the column name? Title. Where title. Okay, then you have to type like title like. Okay, I know the first letter. Okay, B, capital B, and then rest I don't know. Okay, spelling I don't know. It's a German movie, something I don't know. So I'll use the percentile. Okay. See, it starts the title all bright baby hall backslash, and if you know 2 3 letters, that is fine. You can type what is that BALL. Okay, I know the first letter ball. Okay, let's see. So Ballroom, Homeworld, and Mockingbird. Okay, these are the two movies that you can pick up. Okay, something you can do a search and you can do with a like operator. Okay, now we'll do the same with other section. There are three in like. Okay, one is this is the first part. I know the last part. Okay, I'll just take the same example. Text. You are when you are wrangling your text, right? I know the last one. Okay, I know the last one, but I don't know the first one. So what I'll do is I'll reverse this. Okay, last it is starting with ION. That's it. I think it's some action movie. ION. Okay. Now you see evolution, prediction, vacation, prediction, resurrection, satisfaction. Right? You see. So this is where like comes into picture when you are looking for some exact word. Okay. Now I'll copy paste and this time I'll use a different one. Three variation. One is uh, I'll say love. Okay, I'm looking for movie which has a love title, but I don't know the entire movie name. So I'll say love. Search for me. Okay, so lover, love. Okay, Indian love, Idaho, Lawrence love, love suicide. So these are the movie titles. Okay, this how you can filter on a sorry in a columns. Okay, so this is like text editor kind of thing. Like operator will help you to fetch exact word. Okay, and even in the description you can use. Okay, so for example, where I'll say description like I'm looking for a war movie. Nothing. We don't have anything with a war. Okay, maybe I can write a lowercase. Okay, sometimes what happens, nothing is there. Okay, so if I say love, does it fetch anything from the description? No. Okay, so I'll just remove this L and I'll type L lowercase. Sometimes you have to try all this matching, okay? Otherwise, you will not get the exact result. Description or descriptions? Description, okay, correct. Okay, I'll just run. I'll pick
You
one.
can put Saga, capital SAGA. So there are some.
Okay, SAG
Only S is capital. Rest all is small.
saga. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have that word somewhere in between. Yeah, here. Okay, the boring saga, the taut saga, stunning saga. Okay, this is how you can filter. I mean patterns. Okay, that you want to fetch. You have boat, U-boat, Shark Tank, blah blah blah. You have lot. How many entries we got here? 77. 77 movie has a word called saga in the description. That is how you can filter out. Okay, I'll save this. Next one, what we have done with like is done. Okay, and null.
Surendra, this little off topic. For example, in the word that finding the word, let's say company about what is the feedback about a company in a Twitter or Insta or in a LinkedIn. People want to find out. Can there be any API from the SQL that would go and connect to the LinkedIn and then search and give the feedback about the company and a negative feedback or something like that?
No, you need to store that. See, I understood your problem, but see, the data that we are talking about, it is somewhere in the web, right? So surveys, feedbacks, and all, right? Even if you go to
Right.
your what is that called Swiggy page, you can see there your previous or other people feedback also for the same item that you have bought today or yesterday, right? So it is there on the web, but what you have to do is to capture that data. First, you need to, capture, scrape that data, and then you have to write into your database first. Okay,
Okay.
and
So
then
first I
on
need to kind of scrap it and put it in the
correct
database,
database.
SQL database.
Yes.
Okay.
So there are some tools are there. I have seen that. So I'll look at that also. I'll add that in our content. Okay. Later on. First, after
Sure,
the
sure.
basics is done, then we'll go into the intermediate or expert level. Okay,
Okay.
now we are at the basic beginner because you guys need to have this hands-on and practice is must. If you are not doing practice, there is no use of it. Okay, null is simple. Yesterday I showed you, but since we don't have any missing value, but I'll just show you how to write. Okay, where I'll pick something called title. Okay, where title title is null. Okay, I can write simple is null. Okay, null means empty column. Okay, let's run this. If you are getting something like this with the column header, that means your condition is not something, there is no null values. Okay, if there are any null value, you will see one or two rows. Okay, we'll practice this when we are learning with manipulation language. Okay, DML, data manipulation, and when you will create your own title sorry, own table, and then you will write some data into your table, and will intentionally leave one or two blank just to play around to run this command to get a result. Okay, right now we copied this database from internet, so you will not find any uh, this thing. Okay, and we have another one that I can think of is not operator. Okay, not operator. So how do we write this? I'll copy this. Okay, so I'll pick something called first I'll run this. Okay, so I have some points here. Length of a movie. Okay, so you know, right, every movie has some length, say 117 minutes, 49 minutes. It's a maybe could be documentary. Okay, 49 minutes is what I can think of documentary. Okay, so something like that. Okay, but I'm interested in which is above 100 or which is not less than or something. Okay, with a condition. So I'll say select star from film. Okay, oh, sorry. Where? What is this? Length. Where? Length. Okay. Sorry, sorry. I have to write not here first. Where not length equals. Okay. I'll say 100. Oh, I didn't select here full. Okay. Now you see how many? 988 rows affected. So what does that mean is the condition that I took equals to 100. So apart from 100, I have all these entries. Okay, not length equals to 100. Okay, I can say 180 also. Okay, so I'll say 180. Okay, 993 now. Okay, now if I go here, okay, 180 not equal to 80, less than all entries that are less than 180 will be displayed here. 180 or 181. Okay, but this number 180 you cannot see here. So if you want to capture anything specific from a table, okay, so this is the command that you can use, where not a column name equals. Okay, if it is a text column, you can put in a quotes and then you can run it. Okay, this is one of the way that you can write. Okay, so this is what we're gonna learn. Yesterday also we learned this the same thing, but today we have hands-on with some operators, greater than, less than, and all that, right? So what is the key takeaway is where clause I can say is the heart of filtering. Okay, where clause. Without where clause you cannot do anything. Where clause
So,
is the heart.
Surendra, this not length is equal to, so which column it is checking 180, or in entire table it is searching for the not
In the column, see where is length. Length is the
Ah,
column name,
okay,
and you
okay,
can see here I have entries here.
okay, sure.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay, but this works. See, I have used this where not length with text. Okay, so text we have only just two columns, so that is the reason we are not able to do. But I'll show you how to download another text and Netflix and all slowly one by one. Okay,
Okay.
so that you can play around. Netflix is a very good database file that you can do lot of hands-on, lot of hands-on. Okay, so let's uh, okay, yeah, not is done, null is done. I think we have done everything. Okay, that's pretty much for today. So what are the key takeaways? The where clause is the heart of filtering, and you can use in instead of multiple or condition. Okay, in. Okay, so see what happens is I'll tell you there is or. Okay, so if you're using one more or here, one more or, okay, but when it runs right, when million of records, it takes a lot of time. Okay, when you use in, you will see a difference, the time taken. So if you see, if you have noticed, it takes how many, 188 millisecond. Okay, when you use this for the same r or g, okay, you can try that out, you will see yourself. 160 milli. Okay, this is a different task I'm doing or with the duration. Okay, but if you want to do this same thing in, you practice that of your own with by seeing these examples, so that you will get some idea. Okay, and you can use like for flexible text search. Okay, like I said, like is used for text search. Something example is here, text search. Okay, and always use is null for null checks. Null checks is missing values. Okay, and you can combine conditions smartly by using and, or, and not. Okay, there is no hard and fast rule that you have to use is null with only one set. You can use is null, you can say and another condition, and you can use this one, not also you can use. So there is no hard and fast rule, you have to use with only one statement. You can use multiple. That is the beauty of this. Okay, okay guys, so I'll not take much time. So we are on top of the hour. We took 9:18, sorry. Okay, so I want to finish it off by 9:50, 9:05 or 9:10. We are on top of the hour. So Saib, you can share the recording tomorrow. Okay. Hello guys, we'll close this session. I'll meet you guys tomorrow. So Friday we don't have a session. So Friday, please practice. Those who have not done, please practice on weekend or this one, because we are getting into the intermediate level where you will find some hiccups with this, right? And like this you need to understand. Okay. Thank you guys. Good night.
Okay, thank you, Suren.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.